So, you've stocked up on your supplies. You've got the gear you need. You've got your ammo. You've got your food. You've got your hygiene. You've got all that stuff. You've got all your survival gears like cordage. This is bad cordage, but I'm using it as an example. All that stuff. But even though you have all the tools and all the gear and every resource that you need to survive in a situation, you don't have the skills. If you don't train, if you don't get out there and actually learn how to live off the land and do all that stuff, if you don't have somebody help you to teach you how to do things, if you don't even just go look at tutorials online of how to do things, you're still not going to end up making it because you don't have the skills you need to make it in a bad situation. If you don't know how to make a fire, if you don't know what plants you can eat, if you don't know how to properly cure meats, if you don't know how to tie knots, which is what I'm going to showcase in this video, things like that, if you don't know how to purify water, just simple skills that you could learn that you might be putting off or you're just not doing enough research on, maybe, that is going to put you at a disadvantage compared to other people. Other people might not have as much gear that you do, but they have enough training and they've spent enough time working on their skills and being outside that even though they don't have as good or as much gear as you, they're going to actually have an easier time continuing to survive than you because they actually know how to use the gear they have. Whereas you're there wondering how to use certain things or what piece fits into what, depending on what gear you have, or you're left stuck not knowing how to use the gear you have, like I said. But I'd say the simplest thing, or one of the most simple things that you can learn how to do that's actually going to be super useful, is knot tying. And learning different knots, learning how to use different knots in different situations, learning the right knots for shelter building, learning the right knots for hanging up meat if you're curing it, different knots for like if you're climbing something, which is what I'm kind of focusing on today. Just things like that. Knot tying, I would say, is a very good skill to have. Alright, so the knot that I'm going to show you guys today is normally used by mountain climbers, things like that. If you rappel down like the side of a cliff, it's to help make sure that you can retrieve your rope after you climb down. Around here, the only thing I would use it for is if I'm going down a tree. I might tie up to a higher branch so I can make sure that I don't just fall down if I feel like I need to do something like that. It's pretty simple. It's just a really nice tool to have. Besides climbing down things, I can think of plenty of reasons why you might want to have something like this. But it's just another knot that could come in handy someday, even if you don't know the reason why it would at the moment. So you take about the middle of your cordage here and keep it all one piece, but you take it and you have your anchor, which I'm going to call this my anchor for this, and you wrap it around. And then as you can see on this side, you have your top line and your bottom line is what we'll call them. And you take this loop on the other side, run it through the middle, and then wrap it around the bottom line. So you have a loop, and then take your top line here, run that through the loop, pull a little bit out. Now, hold on to that loop you just made, take your bottom line, and pull the knot tight. There. Now, your knot is tight. As you can see, the loop here is still there, and your knot is tight and secure. Now, the beauty about this knot is this bottom line here that you had, you can pull this as much as you want against your anchor. Nothing happens. But your top line here, if you pull on your top line, say once you're done climbing, you're at the bottom and you want your rope. If you pull your top line, your knot comes undone and it's off of your anchor. Show you guys quickly again here. Wrap it around, go through, pull your top line through, hold the loop, pull the bottom. It's tight, not going anywhere. Pull the other string, and your knot comes off. This knot and many others could prove to be invaluable knowledge. I would always recommend improving on all your skills, but being able to know things like this in a situation where you might need it, especially if you practice them and you get to be pretty fast. This specific knot around my area wouldn't be useful, but if you have land in an area that has cliffs and let's say you're getting run out of your spot and you come to a cliff where you know somebody's not going to follow you down, if you can quickly be able to perform this knot if you need to, rappel down the mountain and then quickly get rid of your rope so that they don't have a way to follow you. I mean, it's an unlikely scenario, obviously, but it's something that could prove to be valuable if you know how to do it. But yeah, I'd say always brush up on your skills. Just because you have the equipment doesn't mean you're going to be able to use the equipment. I would say one of the biggest things that I haven't touched on would be medical equipment. You can buy all the medical equipment you want, but if you don't have any training on how to use the medical equipment, it's not going to do you any good. You can have tourniquets, and you can have chest vents, and you can have gauze, and you can have a surgery kit, but it's not going to mean anything if you don't know how to use it. You might as well just stick a bunch of Band-Aids on somebody and hope it works, kind of thing. You need to have training, and you need to be able to know how to use your equipment. And most of all, you need to make sure that no matter what you're doing, you're going to help yourself have a better, easier time in a bad situation. But yeah, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.